Hi everyone and welcome back. My name is Tamara Williams and today I'm going to show you how you can go from this to this in only a matter of minutes, so bear with me. By the way, do you see the lashes and the color grading of this? I used the Williams presets and the lashes here and I am obsessed. And just to show you how confident I am in this product, I'm going to reduce the structure -50, which is quite a lot if you're asking me. So if we check that before and after, Photoshop takes out all the texture. So let's say we would start at somewhat of a level like that. Let's open it up. If you've downloaded them, you should see those two files popping up. Make sure to select both of them and open them in Photoshop. After you've done that, they will just be imported to your Photoshop. Nothing will really happen. After you've opened it, you see the variety of textures that are there. Very important. All of these are different skin textures. This here is a finish. The finish is there, for example, if you have quite a big skin texture and you just want to enhance it a bit more, or you can use it after using any of the other skin actions. Let's just dive right in. Just click one, and it's for hand and skin. It's very important that you're clicking on the mask and that you can already paint on it. Now, I'm painting on 100% just because I want you to see what it does and what kind of skin texture is coming from it. I would go over all the bigger sections where I am lacking texture. All of these textures are adaptable in a way that it's amazing if you're asking me, and I've never seen something like that. So for example, let's say the pores, oh well, okay, you know what, they're actually okay. You can look at those pores and to kind of see like if the size fits. I would probably go in, and if you want to change the size of the pores, you basically just scale them up. And as you scale, you see they're getting bigger or they're getting smaller, which I think is amazing because it really doesn't matter how big your picture is, even if you're sometimes having a close-up shot or whatever, you can scale them up and down. Another thing you can do is you can work on the depth, which I am not advising you to do because you can always reduce the opacity on here, but you can still do it if you wanted to. So for example, if your light hits different, you can either go change it here, or you can also go here, up and down. You can play around with it, which is very cool. Now it gets even better if you're asking me. Let's pump it up again, just for demonstration purposes so you understand like what I'm explaining. You can change the way the light hits the skin texture, which is amazing because you don't have the same light for every picture. And every angle is also very individual. And I'm gonna explain it later. For example, the light's hitting different on the cheek than it is, for example, on the forehead. I know. What I not just now did is like I painted all over her face randomly, but that is just because it's kind of like a general texture that I'm giving. It's just more of a base that I want to work with. Also, I just want to explain to you what it is doing. So let's see how this changes. So do you see how that changed? You can literally change where your light is coming from or how it's hitting the source. You see exactly, like go further away, it gives you more shadow. Now you could go ahead and turn it over again, right? Like there are endless opportunities with these textures. And for my purposes, I probably will keep it as so because the light is hitting a bit more from, actually it's hitting a bit more from that because her head is tilted. But I'm trying not to get too much of a shadow, and I could do that either way. I could either try playing around here, something like that, makes it look amazing, or I could reduce the shadow, which is also possible. If you only have to, if for example, you only want highlights, you can go ahead, you can only use that. Personally, I say again, I want to show you what this can do, and I'm just gonna keep it like that. I'm just gonna reduce it a bit. There we go. Now, again, I just use this to demonstrate to you how easy it is. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna lower the opacity. And I feel like I'm going to paint a bit more on here. If it's not that strong yet, don't worry. We're building those textures up. It's very important to know. I just want to give it somewhat of a structure, somewhat of texture. And I'm probably going to lower that in a minute even more and further. Because again, also very important to understand that like skin has different textures on different areas, and therefore we have to work with that. But let's just see a before and after of this and see, let's zoom in, see what it did to the skin already. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? And like I would probably lower the opacity to somewhat like at 50%. You can build it up. Again, I'm just doing it as a quick demonstration for you guys to understand. then I would probably go ahead and work on paint a bit on the cheeks. Now what I immediately can see is like this texture is too small. Now what I want to do is I want to double click in here, go to structure, and I want to make it bigger. Probably it's somewhat around so. Yeah, I would say so. Now I'm also going to look at where the lights come from. Oh, I actually adapted it from my last change. Photoshop is pretty clever with that nowadays. Now I do want to keep the shadows at a minimal because I don't want her, like you see how the shadows, they are there, but they're not that prominent, if you will. Right, I wanted to check if maybe if I'm changing the pattern, if it makes it look more realistic or if it doesn't. Well, no, I will keep it that way. I'll keep it that way, and I do want to see if I can, because again, this is what I was trying to tell you. The light hits different on the forehead than it hits on the cheek, right? And this is what you will also have to understand if you're rebuilding texture. Fun fact is you can rebuild the whole picture with the texture. The thing is only that like you would have to find the right light hitting the skin, right? You see? This looks much more natural than, for example, this light setup, because this light, it produces a weird line downwards, which we don't want to have because she does have pores that go that way, but you don't see it in the texture of her cheek. Now for those purposes, I'm gonna add a bit of the shadows back again and see if I can maybe, yeah, no, that's too much. I don't like that. So, no, that is the other way around, which by the way, we could also use. If you're looking at her other cheek, that is how it was reflecting there. But it's not reflecting on that side of the face like that. There we go. So I think what I'm gonna end up with is something like so. Let's see structure. Let's see if we can. We're changing. Actually, you know what? I actually like this one here better. Okay, there we go. Always make sure that you're on the actual mask. I'm just rambling right now, and I'm just like literally rushing through just to showcase you guys what these actions can do and how amazing they are, especially if you want to maintain texture. So now I would also go ahead and reduce this. Now looking at it, I don't like the way the light bounces off it anymore. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually see if I can change it. Again, this is trial and error. You really have to like come and see and figure out if you like the way things are looking or not. You can always switch up things a little bit here. You can also get rid of the global light, by the way, because if global light hits, it kind of hits the light from all angles. If you only make it from top, from bottom, it hits it. Let me put that on 100% so you can see that better. It hits it much more in a natural way, and I feel like this is exactly what I need for the cheeks. I feel like I do not want you to see the exact difference, so it's more like this global light, and this is just the way I need it to be hit from one direction, which in my case is, yeah, it's kind of here. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's reduce the opacity back again, just so I can build a base that I can later then define. Okay. Again, this is a bit too much. I would probably lower it to something, let's see, somewhat around that area. Great. And the next thing I'm gonna use is this cheek highlight. Again, I'm telling you, you really have to figure things out yourself. You have to paint them out and see how they're working for your pictures and where you like them or you do not like them. If you do want to change the size, you do easily double click, go to structure and scale it up or scale it down, depending on how big your image is. In my case, that is pretty neat now. I have to see, because I think in my case now here, I would probably take it this way around. Like, look at the texture, like it's crazy. We really took our time to work on those. Also in that case, I feel like it's global light good. Not too sure yet. Not too sure yet. Let's see. Let's put up the highlights a bit more. Let's see if we can crop it a bit more in like that. And I like it this way around better. Okay. Now, again, light is coming from this direction, so I want to make sure that it is also hitting here. You really have to, again, trial and error, try it out, but this looks pretty natural. pretty natural. So you want to click again on the layer. Okay, now I'm gonna go into the highlights to get them a bit more pumping. Usually what I would do is I would go in with opacity of somewhat at that area, and then I would paint in like so. Now because I painted on this here with 100%, I'm gonna have to reduce that now. I feel like this is a fair structure to keep. Yeah, there we go. Now again, I told you, you have to bear with me because it might look weird at first, but honestly it all comes together. Oh, I missed out on that one. Let me see, it's this texture here. Let's see, I have to reduce that one like that, okay. But if you look at it now, look at how realistic this texture looks. Nobody's gonna know. Literally nobody's gonna know. This is just me quickly showcasing you what it can do. And if you're taking your time, if you're just rambling around with it for a bit, if you're just going trial and error, I am telling you, you can just get the actual texture of pictures back where you lost it. And everybody knows this issue. You had this model, everything was perfect, but at the end you ended up with a blank space or a flat space because eventually, for example, the makeup artist put too much powder and you had to edit everything out. So these brushes are going to be your solution. Look at how natural it is. This is why I told you, like, I'm so confident. That's why I even took away 50% of the structure. Like, you cannot tell me that you don't see that this was faked in. It looks super real, super authentic, and it's easy to use. Like, honestly, come on, it's literally just a click. If you want to go ahead and want to add that final finish to it, you basically just click texture finish and click play. What it's going to do, it's going to create one file for you, and this is even bringing the texture more out. If you don't like the amount or how much it adds texture to it, you can reduce that, like so. And then you can go ahead. Now, if you want to upgrade your picture even more, because in here, it's a perfect example as to sometimes models have short lashes or the light didn't quite exactly hit the eyes as it was initiated originally. If I'm looking back and somebody had those sort of brushes, I would have probably run to get them because look at also how realistic they look. Like, it's not even a sense of like, ooh, yeah, that looks fake. Look at the texture of the iris. Look at the texture of the lashes. Honestly, that's all I have to tell you. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to shop the brush bundle and the skin textures to get such results. Links below. Let me know if you liked it. See you next time. Bye.